The world's cheapest mass-produced electric car just got quite a bit cheaper. It's jointly manufactured by General Motors in China, and they've sold more than 1 million of them. And all of a sudden, they just reduced the prices again. The price now is absolutely ludicrous. And I think this proves it is possible to make an electric car that is affordable, not just affordable, but insanely affordable, and that is cheaper than a gasoline-powered vehicle. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Thank you so much for your support over the last few weeks with what's been going on here in Australia. I'll give you an update on all that pretty soon. Got a video coming about it. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for supporting the electric revolution. It's great to see you. The Wuling Mini EV. It's often called the Wuling Mini EV, but actually, to be fair, it should be called the Wuling GM SAIC Mini EV. More than 1 million of these have been sold, which is awesome because, I mean, that's more than 1 million less gasoline-powered vehicles on the roads. And now they start at $4,400 US. It's actually a better vehicle than it used to be, and it's cheaper. SGMW, which is the tri-venture between SAIC, General Motors, and Wuling. By the way, of course, this is two companies in China. So SAIC are a Chinese-owned company, Wuling are a privately owned company in China, and General Motors has a joint partnership with those two companies to make Wuling electric cars. This is not the only model they sell. They sell some other good models as well that are also very popular, but this is the most popular car that they sell by a mile. Since launching this vehicle, technically called the Wuling Mini EV, on the 24th of July in 2020, it has now sold more than 1.1 million. And it's the best-selling small electric car in the world by a mile. From today, or actually from the 30th of January until the 31st of March, Wuling have dropped the price to $4,400 US. It was $4,800. In other words, they've reduced the price by 10%. It's pretty significant. You can probably think $400 US is not much, but actually, for a lot of people in this segment, you've got to remember that it's a very price-sensitive segment. A lot of people have never previously owned a car before. That's why I love this vehicle. It's actually giving mobility to the masses. And they even delivered more than 550,000 of these in 2022, which was an increase of 30% on the previous year. Interestingly, it accounted for nearly 10% of all electric vehicle sales in China in 2022, coming first. So this is the best-selling electric vehicle in China. Wuling does have some competitors. Wuling, General Motors, and SAIC do have some competitors in the market. Those include the Cherry QQ ice cream. I made a video about that one. You can check out that funky little car if you want to watch the video. I'll put a link in the description below. They also have the Cherry Ant. Then there's the Chang'an E-Star and the Chang'an Lumin. The Chang'an Lumin Corn is a really cool car as well. In fact, it's probably my favorite small EV. I'll put a link in the description to my review of that vehicle as well. That starts at a lot more money though than this. It starts at $7,000 US. And the Cherry QQ ice cream is probably the cheapest real competitor to the Wuling Hongwan Mini EV. And that one comes at a price of $5,900 US for the base model. Now, General Motors, Wuling, and SAIC do make a model of this car for $14,400 US. So, more than 3 times the price of this particular model. What's so good about it? Well, it's a convertible. It's pretty much it. And it is insanely popular. The only way you can get one in China is if you go into a lottery and you win the lottery and then you get to buy one. Seriously, I made a video about that too. I'll put a link in the description below to that video about that mini convertible. It's actually really cool. It's the cheapest electric convertible in the world. In fact, it's probably the cheapest mainstream convertible ever made, as far as I know. So for those of you that are unaware of this car, or you're not too sure about the details on it, the Wuling Mini EV is a 4-seat purely electric car. It comes in a couple of variants. One of those is the extended wheelbase version, which is significantly longer than the standard wheelbase version. It has quite a bit of interior room. However, this is the micro segment. It's like a kei car or K car, which is a really popular type of car sold in Japan. It also comes in 3 different battery size options. The biggest battery pack will give this vehicle around 300 kilometers of range, maybe 250 kilometers in the real world, but still, it's actually a really cool car. The other cool thing about it, lithium iron phosphate batteries. So LFP batteries, they're significantly better in terms of longevity meaning you get more charges out of this battery pack and it'll last you longer. There's 4 basic versions aside from the different powertrain options, battery pack options, and the actual length of the vehicle options. Those include the standard basic version, that's 4,400, the Macaron version, the Game Boy version, and the convertible version. Prices start at 4,400 and rise to 14,700. The basic version and the Macaron version are the most popular versions by a mile. They account for 90% of all sales. So the base model version, in fact, the non-extended wheelbase version is 2.9 meters long, 2,920 millimeters, pretty short. Wheelbase is 1,940 millimeters, and it's got an incredible turning radius of 4.2 meters. Basically, you can turn this anywhere. That's one of the cool things. In a city, this is an amazing car to have. In fact, even if you live in the West, this would be an awesome city car. Now, you can get a long wheelbase version, like I said, an extended wheelbase version. That one's about 3.3 meters long, so it's about 10% longer. And the rear seats can be pulled down to give it around 741 liters of space. So that's quite a bit of space inside. I don't know how they get that kind of space. It's very impressive though. Now, interestingly, the interior of these cars actually looks better than a lot of cars coming out of Japan right now. It's quite impressive that they're able to offer these cars at these prices with this kind of interior. Now, you might be thinking, oh, the power figures, those sound really low. But you got to remember, these are small cars, they're lightweight, and they have instant torque. EVs always feel faster than the horsepower figures suggest. Basic version, 27 horsepower, single motor. Game Boy version has a 41 horsepower single motor. And that version you can choose the NMC battery pack or the LFP battery pack. Obviously the LFP batteries are much more popular. And the biggest battery range is 300 kilometers. The smallest for the standard range is 120 kilometers. So for 4,400 US dollars, you're getting a vehicle that'll do about 120 kilometers of range. Pay a few thousand more, you can get significantly more range. The warranty, it's 3 years and 100,000 kilometers, but it's much longer on the battery pack. You get an 8-year warranty on the battery pack. This vehicle is probably a more important car than the Tesla Model Y, the Model 3, or anything BYD makes. The reason being is, well, it makes a lot more sense in a lot of ways. Now, I know a lot of people think that these are the kind of vehicles that you just die in. It's not really true. They're actually pretty impressively built. They're well made. I mean, after all, GM is part of this and they know how to make cars. But it's worth considering the fact that these are the kind of vehicles that many millions of people will end up buying because it's their first car, it's all they can really afford, and it makes sense for them. Personally, I love the fact that electric cars like this are bringing mobility to the masses. When you combine this with the insane, ridiculously fast falling prices of solar energy, I mean, for example, panels have come down in price by 30% over the past 2 months. They're predicted to come down in price by 50% this year. It'll mean you could very cheaply charge your electric car from your solar panels. I mean, this would be perfect for solar panels on your roof, charge your EV, and then do all the driving that the average person needs for a very, very low price. Now, these cars are actually going to go on sale, or a version of this called the Wuling Air has gone on sale in Indonesia and some other countries in Southeast Asia. I personally think these cars would be incredibly popular in India, but obviously India and China, they don't really like each other, so I can't see that happening. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, my friends, have a great day. Bye-bye.